Margo Talbot is our guest. She's a professional ice climber, and she's had quite a journey so far, a climber's journey and a journey through addiction and depression. How are you today, mentally?
Mentally, I'm quite stable. In 20 years of therapy, you can imagine you get quite a kit, quite a toolbox of ways to manage your propensities. I wouldn't call myself a normal person. I never wanted to be a quote-unquote well-adjusted person. I think our society's definition of what a normal person is too narrow. And I've gotten gifts from my mental illness, as it were, my depression. I've gotten gifts that I don't believe I could have otherwise gotten. So while I wouldn't will this on my worst enemy, living with what I've lived with, I would say that I've learned an awful lot, and I wouldn't turn back the clocks and be a different person.
And the gifts for you are, first of all, you have a lovely partner. Tell me about him.
Warren, I met Warren when I was coming out of my last depression, so late 30s, about 39, and I'd never had a stable or long-term relationship in my life, so this is my first.
But you'd had many.
I'd had many. You picked up on that in the
Yes,
book.
I did in the book.
Yeah, and Warren himself had been through a traumatic event in his life where he lost his legs, and I believe that...
He's a climber.
He's a climber too.
And he lost his legs in Australia. I remember the story because I had him on the show. Maybe I met him before you knew him. How long have you known each other?
9 years, 10 years.
Okay, no, so you were in there.
I met him first. Okay. You were in Jasper first, I met Warren first.
Exactly.
So he was able to relate to my trauma in ways that other people couldn't. A lot of people would see personality traits in me and just do the double take. Whereas for Warren, he was unflinching about it. He wasn't scared of it. And I believe it's because he's gone to those deep, dark places inside of himself from his own trauma, which was physical, but even physical trauma affects the psyche.
And you climbed together?
We climbed together. We ice climbed together, rock climbed together, hike up mountains together.
All of that?
All of that, cycling, swimming. We do lots of stuff together.
So today, if you fell into, and do you worry about it? Let's start there. Falling into a depression, that feeling. And I've never suffered from it, and I don't know what it feels like, but I have a sister who does. So tell me.
It's in my mind. So am I worried about falling into the abyss and never climbing out? No. Once you've climbed out of the abyss as many times as I have, you feel like you've got tools to deal with it if it happens again. Do I think about it? Is it a concern? Yes. And for instance, once I heard about postpartum depression, I decided I could never risk going into postpartum depression. I have a very strict routines that I stick to that help keep me centered and balanced. And that includes a really good diet, daily exercise, only being around people that I feel are stable and solid. I know I still have propensities inside of me. For instance, I got quite depressed at times writing the book, but because I had to go back to those places. But I wasn't worried about never being able to bring myself out.
Was there a pivotal moment in your life? I know you had a little stint in jail. You sold a little pot or something in Jasper. So you had a short stint in jail. Was that pivotal for you as you look back at your life and say, when did I have an aha moment? When I thought, Margo, get a grip.
That was definitely pivotal. I only spent a day in jail. I got out on bail, and then there was 6 months waiting for trial, not knowing whether or not they were going to send me back to jail. So the stint was brief, but I had 6 months to think about the fact that I might be sent to do prison time and think about what does that mean in terms of my freedom and what I want with my life. So it was pivotal in the sense that I promised myself I was going to move away from drugs and any kind of criminal activity because I never wanted to give up my freedom or risk losing my freedom ever again.
It wasn't like you were growing pot and had to grow up or anything like that. It was, I assume, a narcotics officer.
Yes.
Who
somehow got me to sell him a little bit.
Well, they were very good at that, as they should be, because they go into the bar and they say they're strangers in town, and I don't know, there's many drills, but often they say, I'm a stranger in town and I wonder where I could score a little dope.
And they're very highly psychologically trained.
Sure, they're good. They're great actors.
Yeah.
All narcs are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you found out.
Yes, but the good part is if their point was to get people doing drugs off the street or to clean up someone's life. It worked.
Sure.
Because I did clean up my life, and I did move away from all those things that could have gotten me into trouble.
And you also learned to appreciate not just your partner, but your girlfriends.
Yes, I had key people. I've never been more thankful of support than I am now. Like, I look back and I see support as being more and more crucial as time goes on. I don't want to think about what would have happened without that support. But of course, I had psychologists and I had social workers. I had a key social worker that helped me learn these tools that I now use in my everyday reality.
And you dedicate the book to your parents, Frank and Sheila, for giving me the gift of life and for doing the best they could given the resources they had.
Yes,
And to Karen McNeil, your friend,
yes.
and to Warren McDonald, that guy,
Yeah.
for showing me that I had wings and could fly.
Yes.
How great. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you. All that glitters, Margo Talbot, ice climber.